Hi, my name is Jana Kampflova. I'm a consultant in the areas of education of people and organization, human resources management, soft skill, gender diversity, and equal opportunities. I also educate women, and today's topic is diversity in terms of gender. In this video, I will present you some ideas and suggestions how to think about diversity in terms of gender. What is actually gender? Gender is a fundamental organizing principle of society. It is basically a social gender. Gender roles. What are gender roles? Every person, man and woman, plays a certain role. A beautiful quote says that one is not born but rather becomes a male or a female by being influenced by society and its perception of how a proper woman or man should look like, behave and express. In terms of labor market, it is, for example, about a question of career choice, career development, and the subsequent issue of the work-life balance and the reconciling work and family. Gender stereotypes interfere with the labor market. What does it mean? Gender stereotypes tell us how men and women should express themselves, how they should behave, what are their knowledge and skills, respectively, what are their natural tendencies. We often hear about innateness and inherent characteristics. We respond that in principle there is nothing like innate dispositions, that a human is far more influenced by how and where they were raised, what they believe. It means that people grow up in a certain society and that society influences them. It is up to people and to society what they do with that information and how they deal with it. Why to pursue gender diversity? In the labor market, we talk about individuals being at risk in the labor market. People at risk in the labor market in terms of gender are women. This is true for several reasons. Firstly, there is a historical context, the situation of women, their status and access to education, public life and ultimately to the labor market. And then there is also the issue of parenting, motherhood, that takes women away from the labor market for the time being. And the question is how organizations, women and parents themselves are able to work with this situation. Gender and prejudice and stereotypes. Prejudices and stereotypes affect women in the labor market. Women are seen as a vulnerable group in the labor market and they are, for example, affected by the following problems. First, it is the theme of the so-called glass ceiling. Glass ceiling means invisible barriers that prevent women from career advancement. It's about a situation that a woman has very good skills, she progresses very well professionally, but because of her gender and because of expectations that are associated with it, she's not allowed to move to the upper floors. The glass elevator is the opposite. It's related to men who have at some point an easier path to their professional career. Wages, salaries, the remuneration in general and the pay gap are another problem. We know that the European Union average fluctuates and that the women often have much lower wages than men for the same work, the equal value work. Again, this relates to a certain stereotype. There may be obstacles in career development. There may be obstacles to access to flexible forms of work. Management of maternal and parental leave, work-life balance. We are still talking about women as persons at risk on the labor market. We are talking about the fact that what significantly discriminates women is their parenthood, respectively their maternity. Women have difficulties returning to the labor market after their maternity leave, respectively parental leave. It is often about the stereotype that it is the woman who takes care of sick children. So it means when she leaves from work, her employer will miss her workforce, or she's not flexible enough, or her concentration on work will suffer. We often see that opposite is true, and women, mother, are very efficient workforce, and we should take care of them properly and consequently. For example, also for the system of the so-called maternity parental leave management. What does this mean for employers in particular? The employer also communicates with a woman before and during her maternity parental leave regularly, because she is still an employee of her employer. He invites her for training, maintains her employment potential and competencies. He may include this system in benefits. A parent knows that when they leave, the company will still continue to count with them. It turns out that women or parents are generally very good managers. They have a very well-developed communication and social skills, have gained a lot of experience, they have a very wide network, and their employer can benefit from their different outlook on certain situations. Summary of gender diversity benefits. To implement gender diversity, we must realize that men and women may have specific requirements in certain phases of their life, and the employer's approach should reflect them. The possibility of flexible forms of work is a modern trend in the organization development. This, for example, includes certain forms of home office, working remotely from home, thanks to the modern technologies, the shared employment, when one job is shared by several employees, as well as other forms of flexible work. The benefit of involving women is the development of potential, not only of women themselves, but as well of the company that promotes gender diversity. Women are highly educated, and they should be encouraged with regard to gender stereotypes, as they are not only external stereotypes influenced by the society, but often internal ones, which women often burden themselves with, such as a low self-esteem, fear to ask for a higher position, fear to tell their employers what they need. It is a good idea to introduce, for example, talent management programs, to be aware of the diversity structure within the company, to utilize potential of women and how they can contribute to the development of the whole team and organization, and to realize that women are also significant buying power because they stand behind a number of purchases, decisions. Women comprise more than half the population, and we need to count with them. 10 important points to remember. Our thinking is influenced by how we perceive ourselves and how we use our potential. Women and men have different characteristics, which are often highlighted by how they have been treated since childhood. Gender stereotypes, stereotypes about a proper woman and proper man, are often unrealistic and significantly influence personal policy of the organization. Parenting is often seen as a barrier to the labor market and career development, especially with women, as the child care is associated with the notion of women dominance in this area. Parenting can be seen as a benefit of an employee who acquires a new dimension of experience, social ties, and interactions, responsibilities, and obligations. Management of maternity, parental leave, management of communication with a parent, and elaborate plan to return after maternity, parental leave. Gender diversity brings various perspectives. Comprehensive utilization of talent, when, for example, with women, it is good to support their self-esteem and self-assertion. Work-life balance policy. It is a policy and strategy in companies where the employer helps to reconcile family, personal life, and work of all employees. Gender audit. Perfect for mapping and analyzing situation. A recognized tool for obtaining specific data and knowledge in the field of gender. Active policy of gender diversity makes full use of the potential of both men and women. Companies that deal with the gender-relevant issue enhance their competitiveness.